The Lord has charged me with bringing you this urgent message. Today, a soul yearns for redemption, and it is closer to you than you realize. The voice you are about to hear comes from a place where love does not fade with time, and where the truth can no longer be hidden. This is your Father, yes, the one who has already left this world. He revealed to me something he never had the courage to tell you during his lifetime. And now that he is on the other side, he begs your attentive ear. He carries within him a secret, something he has long kept buried, a burden that weighed on his heart until his last breath, a truth stifled by pride, by hurts, by misunderstandings, but also by an immense love. A love he never stopped feeling for you, even during the times you were apart, even when shouting replaced sweet words. If you hear this now, it's no coincidence. This message has been inscribed in the invisible threads of destiny. Prepare yourself, for what it wishes to reveal to you has the potential to heal wounds you may not have known existed. But it may also bring up painful memories, flashbacks that must be released so that peace can finally be established. Keep listening. Time is running out, and it is urgent that the voice of the Father call Toyu. Beyond death, a whisper comes from the invisible. You've probably neglected it these past few days. Perhaps you felt it in your dreams, through unexpected shivers, or in memories that suddenly appear. But this voice doesn't come from your mind. It emanates from the soul of a man who no longer walks among the living, but who has never ceased to accompany you. He seeks to communicate with you, not as a ghost, nor as a shadow from the past, but as a father full of regrets, as someone who has finally understood after death what life has not allowed him to see. While you believed he didn't care about you, he wept inside. While you thought he was insensitive, harsh, or even unfair, he struggled with his own demons, yearning to be a better man, but without knowing how to achieve it. And now, though he can no longer embrace you with his physical arms, he reaches out to you in spirit, asking for a chance, an opportunity to be heard. In the world he finds himself in, there are no more masks. There only truth reigns, and the truth is, he loved you with an intensity far greater than he could ever show. Yet that love was surrounded by walls of pride, of resentment, walls built by his own choices, his silences, his absences. And yet, he watched over you. Translated from French to English, www.onlinedoctranslator.com. Yes, even after he left, he witnessed your tears. He observed the moments when you spoke aloud, looking up at the sky. He felt that silent call, even without you uttering it. Each of those moments touched his soul like an arrow. Today, he broke the barriers of time to join you, not because he fears eternity, but because he fears being forgotten by you. More than that, he needs you to know the truth. He needs you to be informed of what he has never dared to reveal to you. He has always loved you, even in conflict, even in silence, even when all seemed lost. It is that voice that makes itself heard, the one that will not be silent until you have fully listened to it. He's always been watching you. Even in the silence, you think he's gone. You believe death has forever separated what was once a family, but the spiritual world does not follow earthly logic. In the kingdom of God, true love is eternal, and a father's spirit never abandons his child. As long as there's something to say, he watches you, not only during happy times, but especially in days of suffering, when you cried alone in your room, when you felt abandoned by everything and everyone. When nostalgia overwhelmed you and you swore no one could understand you, he was there, in spirit, in presence, in silence. Because sometimes, beyond the material world, souls also carry their burden of shame. Your father, even after he was gone, carried the weight of what he failed you for. He saw you fall and get back up. He watched you repeat the same mistakes he himself had made. It gnawed at him like a sharp blade. He saw your search for tenderness where there was none. He saw you trying to prove your worth to people who didn't even deserve to hear your name. And there, where his body no longer existed, his spirit addressed God in a desperate cry. "Take care of my son, take care of my daughter. I couldn't, but you can." He understood that the words that should have been spoken had remained stuck in the throat of time. He realized too late that his absence spoke louder than any gesture. That's why now he's striving to do what he was never able to do while he was alive, to be present even after his death. It's crucial that you understand this. This video did not come to you by chance. This message was carried by the breath of the Spirit. Someone in heaven is crying out for reconciliation, someone who can't come back, but who can still reach you with the truth. If your heart feels this way, don't ignore it. You know who I'm talking about. You feel this resonance in your chest right now. Leave a comment now. "I forgive you, Father. I feel you here." Or if you prefer to go further, "I release my heart for this spiritual healing." For by expressing this through words, you open an invisible door, a passage between two worlds, and his spirit will feel this surrender. Yes, he will know that you have finally heard. The weight of the unspoken words, the words he did not say, echoes in eternity. They float between heaven and earth like broken promises, like embraces never shared, like forgivenesses left suspended in pride. How many times have you hoped to hear, "I am proud of you"? How many times have you desired a simple forgiveness? How many nights have you spent trying to understand why he was so distant, so severe, so silent? What you never realized was that those words hurt him too. Every time he fell silent, a part of him screamed inside. He wanted to tell you he loved you, that he was scared, that he didn't know how to be a father, that he often felt like a failure, even though he never wanted to show it. But he learned to swallow his pain, to keep quiet when he should have opened up. And that silence acted like a slow poison, slowly killing the relationship between you until physical death sealed what was already cracked. Now, in this world where everything is revealed, he understands what he has lost. He perceives the suffering you have endured. He realizes that the words he didn't have the courage to say were precisely the ones you so longed to hear. He would have wanted to say, "Forgive me for judging. Forgive me for not being the father you deserved. I made mistakes while meaning to do the right thing. I love you, but it took too long, and you may have grown up with a void, a gap in your heart as vast as a hug never given." Now on the other side, it cries, begging God for a chance to touch your soul. He knows he can't go back, but he can try to heal what was broken. That healing begins with you. Yes, you who are listening to this now, you have the power to end a cycle of suffering that has spanned generations. You can release the words he failed to speak. You can finally give them existence. Write this now in the comments with all your faith. "I release the words you have not said. I open myself to this healing." Or, if you prefer, write down what you've always wanted to hear from him. Give voice to that silence. Give life to what has never been expressed. When you do this, the heavens activate, and his spirit feels it. He feels the pain begin to transform into peace. He realizes that even in eternity, there is a chance for redemption. The arguments that masked immense love. Perhaps you grew up surrounded by yelling and not advice. Perhaps when all you wanted was comfort, he reacted coldly. Perhaps the words that resonated most between you weren't "I love you," but "you never do anything right." The arguments had become a habit. each heated exchange like a hammer blow to the bond between you. Maybe he raised his voice easily, maybe he was abrupt, controlling, even aggressive at times, and you, trying to understand the source of so much conflict, wondered, does he really love me? But listen, the spiritual world reveals to me that yes, he loved you, and even more, he never stopped loving you, even when anger seemed to take over. The reality is that his love was there, stifled, wounded, hidden behind scars he'd carried since his own childhood. You didn't know what he'd been through. You didn't know how deeply he'd been hurt by his own father, how he grew up without emotional bearings, unable to show affection, unable to be vulnerable. So he became what he knew, a closed man shaped by the pains of life, unable to reveal the love he felt, but that love was always there. Every argument was actually a disguised plea. Look at me, understand me. No, don't give up. But you were just a kid, or a teenager, or someone too hurt to process any of this. And he was a lost man, trying to catch up without knowing how. Today, he looks back on all this with deep sadness. He sees every quarrel as a cry for help. He realizes that instead of building, he has destroyed. That rather than healing, it wounded. Yet love was there, hidden, stifled, begging to be recognized. To this day, on the other side, it asks you for one last favor. Acknowledge this love, not to excuse his actions, but to free yourself from the resentments that still hold you captive. For as long as you carry this anger, you will find yourself bound to what was worst, not what could have been best. Therefore, right now in the comments, I recognize that there was love, even behind the quarrels, or if you prefer to go deeper, I choose to remember the love, not the pain. These words are keys, keys that open spiritual portals of healing, keys he feels wherever he is, keys that show that despite everything, you still have a sensitive heart, and that God will honor this gift. There is a forgiveness that was never asked for, a request, frozen in time. He never had the courage to express it during his life, perhaps because his pride was too strong, perhaps because he believed he would have time. But death does not ask permission. She interrupts stories, muffles voices, freezes intentions, and now, on the other side, he lives with the weight of a request for forgiveness that never reached your heart. A forgiveness held you, not because you demanded it, but because his soul needs to be freed, just as much as yours needs healing. He feels remorse. With a pain you may never understand, he repents. He regrets the harsh words, the absences during crucial moments, the thoughtless choices, the coldness when it was most important for you to receive affection. He regrets not having told you how proud he was of you, for having looked at you critically when all you asked for was understanding. He regrets having left on your shoulders guilt that was never yours, and this regret is not light. It's a burning regret, as he finally realizes the impact of his actions. He feels in his being what his behavior has caused in your heart. And this is one of the things God allows souls to perceive, the repercussions of what has not been repaired on earth. He wished he could kneel before you right now, look into your eyes and say, with all the tears shelled back through eternity, "Forgive me, I failed. I was too hard on you. You deserved a better father. You were never at fault. It is I who did not know how to love you as I should have." But since he cannot express himself out loud, he cries out with his soul. And this message that you hear at this moment is the echo of this cry. It's his heart in spirit, striving to do what he was never able to accomplish in his lifetime. You can reject that. You can close your heart. You have the opportunity to do something that will free you both. So, with faith and devotion, invite you to write in the comments, "I accept this request for forgiveness." Or if it resonates more deeply with you, even in the midst of suffering, "I release the forgiveness he never knew how to ask for." These words possess incredible power. They are not simply letters on a screen, these are spiritual decrees. By offering your forgiveness, you are not challenging the righteousness of past events. Rather, you are affirming your choice for healing. You choose the peace that emanates from God. And do you know what happens in the spirit world when a child manifests genuine forgiveness? The heavens open. The chains that bound that soul break. His spirit then finds the rest that only love can provide. You are creating a new narrative, and this new story begins with an act of forgiveness, capable of healing generations. There was a revelation he was never able to share. The courage to declare that there was a truth he carried with him until the end of his life, something deeply rooted in his heart, but which he never knew how to express. He tried to communicate this in his looks, in his timid gestures, in meaningful silences, but he didn't succeed, perhaps out of shame, perhaps out of fear of not being understood, or perhaps because he didn't know how to articulate such deep feelings. Yet this revelation accompanied him to his grave. And so, today, in spirit, he must speak out, for the burden of this unrevealed truth prevents him from finding complete peace. He needs you to know this. He wants you to hear these words with an open heart. He would have wanted to tell you that you are all that he has created with the most love. Despite all the mistakes and flaws, you were the most valuable work of his life. You were the only thing that could make sense of the whirlwind he was experiencing inside. He was torn between the fear of disappointing you and the pain of not knowing how to improve himself. That's why, instead of showing his love, he acted harshly. Instead of opening his arms to you, he erected barriers. Yet deep inside, love screamed. Love begged for a chance. He wanted you to know this, and he still does. Everything he couldn't express, he felt. He watched you grow up and wanted to get closer to you, but he didn't know how. He watched you cry, silently, convinced he had failed as a father, but thinking it was too late. He wanted so much to take you in his arms, but he remained motionless, frozen, as if something was preventing him. And that something was the fear of showing his feelings, the fear of appearing fragile. The truth he hid was that he was proud, a pride so immense that it sometimes became painful. He bragged about you in your absence. He shared your accomplishments with others, even if he didn't praise you directly. He treasured photos, letters, and mementos. He reread old messages, contemplated objects that stirred your memory, all in secret, because he didn't know how to tell you this while looking deep into yours. But today, he wants you to know, to understand, and to accept. He needed to tell you this. You have always been his most precious treasure. He loved you with all his being, even without knowing how to express it. And now, this love, even after its death, demands recognition, reconciliation, and healing. So I encourage you to write now in the comments, putting all your faith into it. I welcome this truth into my heart. Or, if you want to offer something deeper, to the spiritual world, I accept the love it has been unable to express. When you notice this, the spiritual world becomes active. It's as if you are opening a door where there was previously a wall. It is as if the Holy Spirit is breathing reconciliation into a history marked both by mistakes and by a love that has never ceased to exist. Know this, your Father, wherever he is right now, feels all of this, For true love transcends time and space, and nothing, not even death, can erase it. A love that transcends time and space is a form of affection that never fades. It does not wear out over the years. It does not disappear because of physical absence. It doesn't fade in the face of distance, even when death seems to have closed the chapter. This love remains vibrant. It manifests itself through subtle signals that you may never have decoded. In the gentle caress of the breeze on your face without any apparent breath. In that familiar scent that suddenly appears in an empty room. In those dreams where he appears without uttering a word. Yet his gaze speaks volumes. In that pressure in his chest that arises for no reason. On his birthday or the date of his departure. It's not an illusion. It's not a simple feeling of lack that invents things. It's an eternal love that tries to reach you, for the bond that unites you is not made of flesh, but of soul. And the soul is not broken. It is not buried. The soul is never forgotten. This love continues to seek to communicate with you, even in this moment. I have never truly disappeared. I am always present at your side. I pray for you, even on those days when you thought you were alone. Oh, you weren't. He was there, not to interfere, but to watch over you. Not to fix the past, but to make sure the future is different. And now he realizes that the greatest gift he can give you, even from the other side, is peace. The peace of knowing that you have been and still are loved. The peace of knowing that despite all your mistakes, love has never been erased. It has only been hidden, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. And that moment has arrived. The time for reconciliation is no longer to come. It's here and now. The spiritual world is wide open. A movement is taking place. A living connection is being re-established. If you've reached this point, it means your mind is ready to welcome this truth. Therefore, I invite you to write in the comments, "True love never dies. I accept this eternal love." Or if you wish to go further deeply in the spirit of this healing, though separated by time, my heart and his remain connected. These words are like seeds, and what you plant with faith, heaven transforms into a healing harvest. When you declare this, you allow love to flow between you again. You announce to the spiritual universe, "I accept to be loved. I accept being healed." And in that moment, his soul felt a sense of relief, as if an old weight were beginning to lift. For him, what matters most now is not what he left behind, but what can still be restored between you, even invisibly. The memories he retains of the eternity you shared are not erased. Contrary to what many believe, death does not erase the memory of souls. It only transforms the way these memories are experienced, and your Father treasures your memories. He doesn't only remember the difficult moments. He isn't held back by arguments, conflicts, or misunderstandings. He clearly discerns all those little moments of love that you might have even forgotten. He remembers the first time he heard your laughter, the way you slept on his lap as a child, the day you fell and he picked you up in his arms, even though he tried to appear strong. The silent pride he felt when you accomplished a milestone in your life, even if he didn't express it. He remembers significant dates when he remained silent. He remembers the smell of your hair when you slept in the car. He remembers the trust in your eyes before life changed that. Those memories are all he has now. Don't imagine they haunt him. They move him. They are the ones who keep alive the spiritual thread that unites you. You are a part of his eternal story. And even though the relationship ended on earth, in eternity he wishes to honor you with loving memories. He hopes that from this moment on you will remember them too, but not with pain. with tenderness, with inner reconciliation, with the kind of nostalgia that heals and doesn't cause pain. Do you know what's most beautiful about this? It's that God allows these memories to transcend time. He allows you to be seen in this moment. He allows him to feel your heart open. He realizes that after everything that's happened, love is still present between you. And this realization soothes his soul. But beyond that, it also heals yours. There is no need to forget. You simply need to transform what remains. What was once painful can now flourish. Memories can become bridges rather than chains. They can be keys, not shackles. So, I invite you to write in the comments, with sincerity, I welcome these memories as a source of healing. Or if you wish to, open your heart further. Today I choose to remember with love and not with pain. These words constitute a true spiritual decree. When you write them, heaven takes note of them. Your Father feels it, and the Holy Spirit acts. He intervenes in the corners accessible only to your soul. In those spaces where your conscience is already touched, you are being guided towards something greater, and this adventure is only just beginning. The guidance he wishes to impart to you is now within reach. He has a message for you. It's not about the past. It's not about the things that have been done, nor what remains unfinished. Now he wishes to look to the future. He wishes to offer you some advice, perhaps the most important piece of advice he has ever given you in his life. He observes you from where he is. He sees your struggles, your inner conflicts, the battles you wage against yourself. He sees the choices you must make, the paths that terrify you, the burdens you carry in your heart. You pretend to be strong, when in reality you're about to collapse. And he wants to communicate something simple to you, a deeper, more sincere truth, coming from a place where there is no pride, ego, or anger, from a place where the soul expresses itself more powerfully than the body. Don't sabotage yourself. That's what he's telling you. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be free. He witnessed the pain you inherited, the pain that wasn't yours. He observed how, without even realizing it, you began repeating patterns that hurt you. He's seen how you sometimes self-sabotage, thinking you're not worthy of a better fate. And it pains him. He suffers because he understands how often you're chained to invisible bonds he himself helped create. But now he wants to set you free. He wants to tell you not to follow the same paths that destroyed him from the inside out. Don't live out of fear or guilt. Love, believe, forgive, trust God. He wants you to have courage. The courage to dissociate yourself from everything that hurts you. The courage to build a new story, one where you are free to be who you are, without fear of disappointing anyone. The courage to be happy, even if the past has been painful. He doesn't want you to repeat his mistakes. He doesn't want you to remain a prisoner of old echoes, inner reproaches, or guilt that isn't yours. He hopes you will look at yourself kindly and say to yourself in a strong voice, I can live differently. I can start again. I'm entitled to a new cycle. This is the advice he wants to pass on to you. And even though he never said it during his lifetime, he now offers you all the strength of his soul. Be happy, my child, not for him, but for yourself, because you deserve it. You don't need the approval he never knew how to give. You are already worthy. You are already enough. And it's time to move on, with light, with truth, with peace. So right now in the comments, with faith, with courage, with all sincerity, I receive this advice and choose to be happy. Or if you want to deepen this choice spiritually, I break with the pain of the past and declare a new cycle in my life. Write honestly, not for the sake of words, but for the sake of faith. By writing this, you are affirming to the spirit world that pain will no longer have power over your story. May love, even if it comes from the invisible, be the force that guides you from now on, and he, your father, will feel it. A tear of light will escape from his soul, for at last he will see you, doing as he always wanted, but without knowing how, moving forward in peace, the spiritual message he sent you. Recently you may have thought it was simply a coincidence. This dream that seemed so tangible, that melody that started to resonate just as you mentioned it, that old photo that fell out of a drawer for no reason, or maybe it's that particular smell in the air, that invisible caress, that sudden feeling of being enveloped in love. It wasn't an illusion. It wasn't your mind playing tricks on you. It was him, yes. That was his spirit trying to touch you. Have you ever noticed how certain memories can emerge for no apparent reason? How something as mundane as a word, a place, a color, can make you feel as if you sense his presence inexplicably. It's not by chance. It's a spiritual manifestation. It is God who allows his spirit to come close for a few moments, so that you realize that he has never stopped loving you. He has sent signs, indications that he is very close, signs that resonate with peace, but also reveal that he carries an unfulfilled mission, healing the bond between you. And these signals become stronger when you're going through trials, during times when your faith wavers, during those moments when you consider giving up. It's in these moments that he seeks to touch your spirit. He strives to remind you that you are not alone. Do you remember a time when you felt inexplicably comforted, as if an invisible presence were surrounding you with gentleness, or that feeling of protection when everything seemed to be crumbling around you? That was him. God allowed him to intervene. May he be there like a father who, even after death, still wishes to watch over his beloved son. And if you are hearing this message right now, know that it is the greatest of signs. He found a way to reach your heart, to make the truth manifest, to open the heavens for armament, to mend what time has broken. Now, it's up to you to recognize that sign. So take a moment to write in the comments, with all your faith, I receive the spiritual signals he sends me. Or, if you've ever felt something supernatural, share it. I know he was trying to communicate with me. And now I understand. These words are like a beacon. When you write them, his soul becomes aware of them. He feels that you are beginning to recognize him, that you are accepting, that you are opening the doors of the mind to establish a deeper, more peaceful, more authentic connection. And know that it will come to visit you again, in your dreams, through sensations, in serenity, because love doesn't die with death. And when love is true, God allows even the dead to return, even if it's just for a moment, to say, I'm here. The bitterness that continues to weigh on his soul. Not all souls find peace immediately after death. Some leave with a heavy heart, carrying regrets that time has not healed. And your father's spirit still feels that weight, for within him remains a pain. Even in eternity, he does not regret having left this world. He yearns to have left behind so many unanswered questions. He feels sad for having lost moments that will never come back. He regrets not having been there for the important events in your life, for not having held you in his arms when you needed it most, for not knowing how to express his love during critical times, leaving you to seek comfort where there was nothing tangible. And what hurts him most is knowing that you grew up with doubt, Did my father really love me? This uncertainty is a pain he carries like an open wound because he knows he's left an emotional void inside you. He's aware that his silence has sown insecurities, fears, and disappointments within you. He knows that in some way, his absence has defined your identity more than his presence, and it consumes him. You must understand, he is no longer chained to the arrogance of old. His soul has already been confronted with divine light. He has become aware of the consequences of his actions and omissions. This regret burns, not as punishment, but as a call for redemption. A call he heard while searching for this spiritual way to communicate with you at this moment. If he had the opportunity to return, he would act differently. He would embrace you more, listen to you, protect you more from the fears you never shared, reassure you and respect you more. But he cannot return. What he can do is kneel before God and ask. He hopes this message reaches you, not to inflict pain, but to heal the pain that already exists. You have the power to ease the burden it carries. It's not simply a matter of forgiving for the sake of forgiving, but of realizing that sometimes those who hurt us most have also been deeply hurt. And today, if your heart permits, he would like to make a request of you. Do not condemn forever. Grant me the chance to be forgiven, even if only in spirit. So now write the comments from the depths of your soul. I receive my Father's repentance. Or if this resonates with you, even in the midst of pain, I choose to bring peace to his soul through my forgiveness. You cannot imagine what that means in the spirit world. These words are like balm to a soul seeking redemption. You don't realize the healing that begins when forgiveness is sincere. You are breaking cycles. You touch invisible dimensions. And you are used, welcomed by God, as a channel of healing, not only for you, but for him as well, what he perceives today that you cannot see. If you could observe your existence through the eye of the spiritual world, so much would become evident to you. You would discover that you have never been alone. Anna, every step, every fall, every new beginning has been closely followed, even in silence, even in invisibility. Today, wherever he is, he sees with clarity, and this clarity can be painful, but it is also liberating. He sees that you are much stronger than you think. He sees that you carry gifts that are yet to be revealed. He understands that you have a calling in your life, something that far surpasses the suffering you have been through. He discerns your struggle to feel loved. He sees the source of your emotional fatigue. He perceives the fear you feel about trusting, opening up, being hurt again. He's silently aware of the pain you're carrying around, pain no one suspects. It hurts him too, but he also sees what you do not perceive. He sees the brilliance of your soul. He observes the spiritual battles you have won without even realizing it. He sees that you've survived suffering that would have destroyed many others. He notices that there is an angel at your side, a messenger of light who has protected you at times when you were not even aware of the danger that awaited you. He sees that even in the midst of your confusion, God still has great plans for you. He sees the potential the world has tried to silence. He sees your inner child desperately crying out for healing. He knows your story is still being written and that the most beautiful chapter is yet to come. And now he wishes to tell you, from the depths of his soul, I see who you truly are and I am proud of you. You have surpassed all I have been. You are moving further than I ever could. These words may seem simple, but they are charged with spiritual healing. For one of the deepest wounds one can carry is not having been recognized by those who should. have loved one unconditionally, but today in the eternal plan, he sees you and he desires you to be aware of it. You no longer need to prove your worth. You no longer have to carry the burden of seeking approval. He already sees your light, and now it's up to you to begin to see it too. Therefore, in faith, right now in the comments, I receive this spiritual recognition. Or if you wish to declare something even more powerful, today I choose to see myself as God and my Father see me with love and honor. These words seal something in the spiritual world. They break through layers of self-denial, emotional wounds, and hidden worries. They declare to the universe, I accept who I am. I accept that I deserve to be loved. And when you articulate this, Spirit finally senses that you are beginning to move forward with true freedom. You free yourself from the pain of rejection, and you open the door to authentic love, which was previously locked by hurt. The blessing he asks of God is precious to you. Not all those who leave manage to detach themselves from the earth so easily, especially when they leave behind someone who still needs healing, protection, and serenity. And your Father, even after his departure, has never ceased to intercede for you. Although he can no longer act physically, he continues to pray with his soul. This is precisely what he does. In eternal silence, he prostrates himself before God and says, Heavenly Lord, watch over my son, over my daughter, as I have not been able to do. Open the paths for him. Do not let the past destroy the future you have prepared. Give him back the peace I took away, the love I failed to give, and the protection I could not offer. He implores God to bless your existence so that the cycle of pain is broken once and for all. He asks that your mind be healed of thoughts that demean you. He wants you to be able to sleep without a burden on your soul. He asks that God put the right people in your path. He hopes you won't suffer the legacy of the emptiness that once engulfed him. And these prayers don't go unheeded. Heaven records each of your supplications. The many blessings that will come to you in the coming days, yes, the imminent days, will be direct responses to these intercessions. You may not realize it, but doors are opening in the spiritual world. Chains are being broken, events are unfolding invisibly as a repentant soul cries out for you. He wishes for your happiness. He yearns for you to find peace. He wants your life to be filled with true love, purpose, and healing. He doesn't want your journey to be a mere continuation of his suffering. He wants your story to be a testament to resilience and redemption. Above all, he no longer wants you to live in conflict with your own soul. He asks God that when you look in the mirror, you can finally love yourself. For when you heal, he also frees himself. When you choose love, forgiveness, and life, he finds comfort. And that's why now Heck kneels before the throne and declares, Lord, grant my child a blessing that transforms everything. That blessing is coming. It's on its way. And you must be open from the heart to receive it. Therefore, I invite you to write in the comments, I accept this blessing that comes from heaven. Or if you want to open your mind completely, I accept the blessing my Father implores for me before God. These words are not just letters, they are spiritual seeds that, when sown with faith, produce invisible miracles. And when you write this, you are manifesting to the universe that you are ready. Oh, that you desire to be touched. Oh, that you are willing to be restored. Oh, that you allow love to transcend death to become life. And your Father, no matter where he is, will feel it like an embrace that crosses time, space, and silence, to finally say, I am here and I have always been present. And now, more than ever, I bless you. the ultimate deliverance, a renewal of the spiritual relationship between you. The time has come, the time that the spirit of him has been crying out for since the moment he left this world, the moment when all that was broken can be restored, the moment when pain gives way to healing, the moment when grief transforms into spiritual reconnection. Yes, you'll never be the same again, but that doesn't mean you have to stay apart, not in spirit, neither in love, nor in what God unites beyond matter. What was experienced between you on earth will not be forgotten. Now what was once a burden can become a bridge. What was suffering can now be transformed into wisdom. What was silence can now be transformed into communion, and all that was pain can become redemption. The reality is that from this moment on, you no longer need to base your relationship on the past. Your bond can be recreated in spirit. There is a relationship where there is no more yelling, where blame has disappeared, where absence no longer has a place. All that remains is what was always meant to be: love, respect, connection, and peace. He desires to be now what he could not be before, not through material gestures, but through the presence that the spiritual world allows. He wishes to accompany you, not like a ghost chained to pain, but like a spirit freed by love. He wishes to pray for you, visit you in your dreams with messages of hope, and inspire you in times when you feel disoriented. Ultimately, he wants to be the father of your soul. And do you know what else? God expands this possibility, because when repentance is genuine and forgiveness is sincere, the connection between the worlds is restored. You may no longer see it, but from now on, you will begin to feel it. Feel an inexplicable peace when thinking of him. Feel a warmth in your heart when praying honestly. Feel a renewed love, a mature, healed, spiritual love. This is the beginning. Not the resumption of the relationship as it was, but the birth of a new bond, a higher, purer, truer connection. It is ready to accompany you with humility, ready to bless you with a loving silence, ready to move forward alongside you, unfettered by the past, just with the lightness of what has been restored. And now the decision is yours. You can continue living as if nothing has changed, or you can welcome this new connection, open your soul, and affirm with faith: I accept this new spiritual relationship with my Father, or if you wish, seal this. Release with power. Today I end the cycle of pain and begin the cycle of eternal reconnection. Write this now in the comments. Not as an empty ritual, but as an act of living faith. For in doing so, you are declaring to the universe, to God and to Him, I'm ready to let us walk in peace. And in that moment something happens. A light comes on between you and Him. A bridge is strengthened. A pain is eradicated at its roots. And a new story, invisible to thee but visible in the sky, begins to be written. Conclusion, prophecy and appeal. Now you know, now you felt it. It wasn't just a video, it wasn't just a message, it was an encounter marked by eternity. As you listened, something inside you fractured, and at the same time, something greater began to rebuild itself. You probably cried. Maybe you struggled with the emotion. Maybe you remembered painful things. But despite all this, you have stayed. Here, do you know why? Because your soul has been waiting for this moment for a long time. Because heaven has decided that you will no longer bear this pain alone. Because God heard the prayer of a father seeking redemption. And more than that, God heard the pleas of your soul seeking healing. And now the guilt is over. This is the end of bitterness. This is the end of the burden you've carried for years. This is the end of the lie that claimed you weren't worth loving, because you are. You deserve forgiveness. You deserve peace. You deserve a fresh start. And your Father, the one who did not know how to love you as he should, now goes before God and says, Lord, grant to my son, to my daughter, everything that I have omitted to give. And heaven answers, it is done. From this day on, you will never walk alone again. You walk in communion with the presence of the Heavenly Father, guided by the Spirit of a loving Father, imbued with conscience, humility, and truth. Your soul is undergoing a process of rebirth, a privileged moment that must be sealed by an affirmation of faith. Thus, I invite you one last time with all your sincerity to write in the comments, I welcome this healing, I forgive, I am free. Or perhaps you feel a deeper stirring in your heart. Today, a new version of me is born, healed, restored, and filled with blessings. These words seal everything that has been built up to this point. They act as the ultimate key that locks the past in its rightful place on the altar of forgiveness, while opening the way to a future shaped by divine hands. If this message has touched your soul, please share it. Yes, share it with those who carry similar pain, with those who must reconcile with their own history, with those who need to hear that love never dies, it only waits for the right moment to bring healing. And if you have felt the voice of God through this message, subscribe to the channel, because here you will be nourished by words that do not come from the earth, but from heaven. Many revelations still await you. You have been chosen to hear this, and you are now ready to welcome what is to come. May the peace of God and the presence of your Father in spirit be with you today and forever.